obviously a few webcams on this morning. So there's a few of us. I'll go through and introduce everyone in a minute, but thanks a lot for everyone that's joining us this morning. Today we're going to be, or this morning my time, it's probably all different times around the world. So let us know in the chat. You're probably familiar with Zoom by now this year, but there's a chat button. Let us know in the chat where you're joining from today. That's always interesting to see where everyone's joining from. I'm in Brisbane, and in a second I'll introduce the team and they'll let you know where they are in the world as well. So thanks a lot for everyone who's joining so far. We'll give you a couple more minutes just while I run through the housekeeping. So this session is being recorded today as well. So we will send out the recording afterwards as always, and we'll also post that recording into the client Facebook group too. So if you're not in there, feel free to join that. I'll paste the link in the chat in a second. And please feel free, any questions that come to your mind as we go through today, please feel free to pop them into the Q&A or the chat panel as we go, and we'll ask them throughout, or at the end we'll also have a dedicated time for a Q&A. So please, this is your chance if you have any questions for any of the Bizink team. We've got a few of us on here today, so more than happy to answer. So
good work to the people from the UK coming
yeah.
on.
Yeah, thanks a lot for joining.
Good evening to you guys, or good night.
Yeah. Got a few in my neck of the woods, so it's 8, 9 a.m. probably for a few of you guys, but probably closer to 10 o'clock or midnight or something for the UK people. So thanks a lot for joining, and even Adrian's woken up early for this webinar this morning as well from our team. So thanks a lot, everyone. That's really good to see where everyone's coming from. So we'll just go to the next slide and go through the agenda really quickly. So as I mentioned, we've got a few of us on here today, so we'll be going through Matt's CEO update of what's sort of been going on this year. We don't need to tell you guys what a crazy year it's been, but we'll recap what we've sort of been doing at Bizink and what we've got planned as well in our product update and our roadmap. And so Matt will also be joined by our newest team member, Adrian, to talk about our new marketing packages and what we're doing there, as well as some new website packages. And then Kai, head of production, will join us for a little production update. So he's also been with us a couple months now, I'm thinking. So a few of you may have already been dealing with Kai building your new websites and hubs, and he'll give you a bit of an update on that front. And then Bruce as well, joining us in his support role to tell you a bit about our knowledge base and other support improvements. So I'll hand over to Matt and he can get started.
Thanks, Adrian, and hi to everyone. Thanks for coming along today. So we've got a lot to get through, so I will not hang around. So I guess, yeah, an interesting year, right? Maybe you've heard that supposed Chinese proverb of may you live in interesting times. Well, Chinese curse, may you live in interesting times, because, you kind of want to live in boring times and not have all of this stuff. And I think, beyond COVID, which we'll try and keep it light on the COVID side, because I think you've all heard enough about that. I think it's been a strange year for a lot of people in lots of different ways. Certainly for me, my year started with a trip back to the UK, as my dad was having a triple heart bypass and valve replacement. So that got things kicked off.
That seems
Traveled
like so
back
long ago.
through LAX with COVID starting up. So I wasn't too wild about putting my hand on the fingerprint scanner. My partner was pregnant with our first child, which ended up being a very difficult pregnancy. All made worth it when my son was born, but of course he came 2 weeks early just to complicate things, and we had to drive for 4 hours to get that done. Okay, we're all settled down now. First week at home, my cat turns up with its eye missing. So it's been one of those years where you just think, what's going to happen? And Liverpool won the league, my favourite football team. I saw Mark's joined us from the UK. He's a Liverpool fan too. So yeah, that's slightly above my first child being born in terms of my things. Only joking. So yeah, it's been an interesting year for all of us, but I think thankfully for us at Bizink, it's been a really good year. And I just wanted to do a quick recap of what we have been up to. So like I said, I don't want to dwell too much on the COVID side of things, because we've probably had a guts full of that. But I was really pleased with our response to COVID. We got a lot of content out really quickly, the resources which many of you will have on your website, and they're still available. If you haven't got these on your site or your client hub, they're still available. So reach out to support team will be the best thing, and Bruce will be telling you the different ways that's best to do that in just a bit. We send out a weekly digest, which we've continued, and I think that will carry on in some form or another. That's been very popular. We did a bunch of webinars as well, which, I thought we had some really cool guests. I think people got a bit of webinar fatigue, so we took a bit of a rain check on webinars for a few months. We restarted them last month, and we're getting really good numbers again, so that's something that we're going to go back to. And honestly, for the first time, we started getting feedback from your clients. So we had few of you write in and say, I got this feedback about the content that Bizink's been doing from my clients. So that to me is like, it's great when you guys say nice things about us, but if your clients are saying that, that to me is the biggest tick we can get, because it means, you look good and we look good to you. So it's definitely a win-win. So that's great. And you can see one of these quotes that we got sent through from one of our clients. But the year's been good for us. We've actually grown quite a lot. We're up so far 31% on 2019. I'm doing that off our financial year, which in New Zealand starts in April. And that's enabled us to really grow the team as well. And that's exciting because that means better service for you guys. So, we've hired a writer, Camille, we've hired a developer, Ace, Kai, who you will hear from a little bit later, replaced Camilla, so we didn't actually grow there, but we got a replacement there. Adrian, who you'll be hearing from a little bit later, who's going to be helping on the client marketing side. And we just confirmed we've got a new support person starting as well. So they're going to be helping Bruce. They'll be starting next week. So that's really cool. And we've got Sam as well, who's doing sales in the States. So it's been a really big year for us in terms of, financial growth, which is always nice. There he is. And also in terms of being able to grow the team, which means better service for you. So we've invested that profit back into the business so we can keep growing really sustainably and keep offering an even better service. A few other things that we've done. We've done a rebrand. Well, we didn't call it a rebrand because rebrands have got a lot of bad connotations in my mind. So we called it a brand refresh. So we kept like a lot of the colors and the feel, but the designer we worked with has done, I think, a really good job, and you'll start to see that rolled out across different things. You can see it on the slides here, and you'll start to see that across various bits of collateral that we have, and we'll be launching a new website in the next few weeks as well. And so what I'm going to move on to next is, a bunch of the kind of cool new content, features, and services that we're going to be launching in the next kind of few weeks and months. So the first things I want to talk about is 3 features: notifications, key dates, and checklists. And for the keen kind of Bizink watchers amongst you, we talked about those back in our update in August, and we've still not quite got those out. And that's kind of a bit of pain for me over the last couple of months, where we've not really got those features out quick enough. And they've kind of been 99% ready since then, and we've just been trying to iron out a few bugs and this and that. Now, I really like to speed up our future feature releases, and we're doing some things internally there about testing and development that's gonna accelerate that a bit. But I think one thing that would really help us is to get early feedback of some of you guys. And so what we're after is just a handful of beta testers, preferably in all the different countries that we sell in. So if you don't mind launching a quick poll, here, just keen to know who would like to be a beta tester. So what that means is you get early access to features and content in return for just a bit of time helping us test them. No great time imposition, I would hope, on this. but that'd be really helpful if anyone would be keen to do that. Now, we the Bizink Bulletin, actually, I haven't mentioned, that's something we've launched. We've got a weekly email newsletter that goes out on Friday that I write. Maybe, Auntie, if you could find the link for that, it'd be great, because that's been a really popular thing that we've been doing. I did talk about some SEO beta testers, and I know a few of you wait me to come back to you. I will come back to you on that. So that's just a little side thing. But thanks for letting us know. Yeah, we've got a bunch of you. We'll be happy to help out in terms of beta testing. So we can end that poll. That'd be great. We don't need to share the results. It's all good. So in terms of those features, first one I wanted to show you was notifications. So this isn't something you'll have to do anything with. This is just a feature where basically, we're always adding new content to your website. So stuff like blogs, email digest, and things like that. But unless you visit your site all the time, or you're following, say, the client Facebook group, which I highly recommend you do, or our newsletters, you're not going to know that, on this day we've posted this piece of content. So I think that is a real weakness that we should be telling you about that more. So now what we're going to have is this thing called notifications. That's what it says in the tin. You'll get notified every time we launch a new piece of content. So an example here on screen, just a simple notification like this. There's a new blog on your website and the link to post it, just to make it really easy. You can just log in and post that blog, and it will do this for other content as well. So you'll start seeing that rolling out across sites pretty soon. If for any reason you want us to stop those notifications, you just need to message us and we can turn those off. But it's not like they're going to be coming in all the time. You'll just get a handful of them, and it will keep you on top of all the new stuff they're posting to your site or your client hub. Next one is key dates. So these are basically things like tax filing dates, public holidays. I think it's a really good thing to have on an accounting or bookkeeping website. Example here is the New Zealand key dates for October. And we're going to do New Zealand first, then Australia, then the US, UK, and Canada shortly afterwards. So all going to be live before Christmas. The functionality is all there. We just need to get that content in there and get that pushed out to you all. So I think that's quite a cool little feature that you can have in there as well. And this is the one I'm most excited about. So, who uses checklists a lot in your firm? Maybe just type yes or no in your chat. Who's using checklists? Because certainly something that we do a lot to ensure standard service and make things easier for us. So I can see a lot of yeses coming in. So we know that's a way that a lot of you like to work, and I'm really excited about this new checklists feature, where in the back end of your website, like you can see on screen, there are going to be these checklists which we're going to use to basically tell you exactly what marketing to do. So for example, a campaign that promotes your new website when it launches, or like this one on screen, something to promote the business plan course, which a lot of you have on your website, or something on how to do email marketing properly. So you'd have these checklist items in your website. We'll be pushing them out to you, and also you can create your own, and it will link off to the content within your website. So that's the real, that's the real added feature here. It's not just us saying do this, it's linking to a piece of content that we've written for you, and we've also got the tools for you to push out the campaigns, so things like email marketing or social media integration. So I think this is a really powerful feature that you're going to see coming in your website or your client hub pretty soon. So we're just fixing one small issue there, which is about linking to internal content, and we've got a solution to that. We're just doing that in the next couple of weeks, and we'll start rolling this out for everybody. In terms of content, we're doing a complete revamp of the resources on your website. So the old resources won't go away, but we've got a bunch of new, more up-to-date ones that which we'll be releasing. I also want to do some more accounting and bookkeeping specific content. So, one that I'd like to do is how to read financial statements, something like that, because, I don't think most business owners can, and it's quite important, and that's something I think would help you guys, and I think it would help business owners as well. It always surprises me how few people can understand, say, a balance sheet and they've got a business. So that's something we'll do. And we'll try and make that stuff as interesting as we can. It can be a little bit dry, but we're going to try and make that really interesting. And the other thing that we found this year with the COVID weekly digests that we've been putting out, that really timely weekly content has been super popular. So we're working on ways that we can do that, because there's a lot of things happening, from governments, and keeping your clients abreast of that stuff, I think, is a really useful thing to do. Other thing we've got is a server upgrade coming. So we obviously, you're probably aware, we had a few server issues last month, and we've kind of resolved that in we've beefed up the server. But what we're actually doing is going to a whole new setup on Amazon Web Services. There's a whole bunch of techie kind of things that's going to be better. There's a lot more redundancy in there. We'll basically have several servers running, so that if one goes down, the other one will just be there. So according to the server guy, we'll never have an outage. I mean, that's what everyone says, right? So I'm not going to guarantee that, but it is a really powerful system. We'll be doing a bunch of things like moving the assets on your website, so things like the images, to what's called a CDN, a content delivery network. Now, in layman's terms, what that means is your site will be a lot faster. It will take a lot of load off the processor of the main server, and it's one of the things that Google like to see you doing. So there's a bunch of things like that we're doing. We're just kind of making sure there's a seamless transition to that, and that will happen in the next 2 to 3 weeks. You don't have to do anything, so there's not going to be any pointing your domain anywhere. It will all just happen. We'll be relaunching our website packages. So what that's going to mean is that, for new clients, there's going to be some price increases on things, but anyone who's a subscriber now, your pricing will stay the same. So we're not going to put that up. We value your loyalty to us, so there'll be no change there. If you wanted to upgrade your website package, and most of our clients are on what we call our Pro website package, and we've got an offer there. If you want to upgrade to Plus, which is the next package up, we've got an offer there. So if you're interested in finding more about that, we've got a lot to get through today, so I'm not going to stick on that. We've got a little form that Anti's going to drop into the chat there, and it also talks about marketing packages, which we'll be coming on to shortly. Just let us know and we'll send through some information. So it's a really good offer, and we'll just send through some info on that. Last couple of things to quickly mention: we've got some new website themes being designed. So if you're on like one of what we call our standard designs, I don't think a lot of people know this, but you can change design whenever you want for free. So if you want to get a new look for your website, we will do that for you for free, because we don't want anyone to have an outdated looking website. And we've got a couple of new themes being designed and built at the moment, so they're going to look really cool. We'll have a new theme for the Client Hub, so anyone who's on that product, you'll have the option to upgrade to that for free. And the final one is some social media content. So we've been doing a lot of social media content, like little image posts and things like that. So things like around the key dates. And what we're going to be doing over the next couple of months is pushing those into your website, so that you've got a repository of social media content. Depending on which package you're on, there'll be different types of content in there, but we'll have that content in the back end of your website. So that'll be pretty cool. So that's a bunch of stuff where, we give you the website, the content, the tools, but you still got to do some of that stuff yourself. But I know that for a lot of you, you just want Bizink to do it for you, or someone to do the marketing for you. So we're relaunching our marketing packages, and we do some marketing packages right now, but we're completely relaunching them, offering dedicated social media and SEO packages for the first time. We've hired Adrian, who is on the session today, and we're going to chat to him in just a minute. He was the marketing manager for an award-winning Australian accounting firm, so really knows the profession and some of the ways that it differs from other businesses. Now, we've been around since 2013, and maybe some of you are thinking, like, why is it taking us so long to do things like SEO packages? And just wants to touch on that is because the first thing is that we didn't want to be like a jack of all trades. The focus has been the websites and the content, rather than trying to spread ourselves too thin and offer all kinds of different things. I've also held back on particularly on SEO because it's a big beast, and I think that a lot of firms focus too much on SEO. So I've always been a bit wary about offering it because I think it only works in conjunction with other things. And that's why our current packages have been, a bit of everything. But we've listened to your feedback, and a lot of you just want some SEO packages. You just want some social media help. Especially on the SEO side, we've seen some clients, they've hired agencies to do that work for them with, often not great results. And then what that can end up with is those agencies asking us to do a bunch of things on the website, which they're not wrong. They just differ from the way we do things. And then we get into that, what I call vendor wars, where, you've got us saying one thing, agency saying the other thing. And I hate that confrontational thing because you're in the middle of that, and that doesn't help anybody. So we want to offer a solution that works really well with our websites. And I think there's some other benefits there as well. So where I think we'll do this stuff a lot better than, an agency that just works with lots of different types of businesses is, we only work with accountants and bookkeepers. And I see a lot of agencies who apply the tactics that they use, the very B2C, business to consumer type tactics. They apply them to accounting firms and bookkeeping firms, and it's a whole different ball game, as you know. I think the other bit that I see, particularly with SEO companies, it's like, if you're a hammer, everything's a nail. And so SEO companies, the answer is always SEO, right? What should we do? More SEO. And I don't think that's true. You've got to do things on lots of different levels. And I think that we can do that for you. We've got we can help you with content. We can help you with email marketing. We can help you with social and all of that side as well. So we'll always make those suggestions. If we think SEO is not right for you, it's not like that's all we do. So that's really important. And the final thing is, I think our pricing is really good. Like, I don't like to compete on price, but I think we can price this really well because we're already looking after your website. So there's a big efficiency there that we don't have to, reinvent the wheel with a bunch of that stuff. So I want to stop talking because I've been going on for the last kind of 20 minutes and bring Adrian in. So Adrian's heading up our client marketing team. And before we sort of talk specifically about the packages, really interested to know, Adrian, tell us a little bit about yourself and specifically that firm you worked for in Australia. And we can maybe talk about after that a bit about some of the tactics that you used for that firm.
Yep. So, hi everyone. I'm Adrian. I'm the new guy here, handling all of our client services for marketing. And I've worked with an award-winning Australian firm before. It's an accounting firm and some bookkeeping services as well. So it's a lot different because I've handled a lot of different client portfolios before. But this one's very special because it's very localized. I do understand the terrain. I do understand the niche that's accountants are facing every day when it comes to their marketing. Most of it because they do not have the time to actually go on to their everyday marketing endeavors. So it's a bit of an up and down marketing. So they really need a dedicated guy for them to be able to accomplish all of their goals when it comes to like expanding or getting the word out. And especially, I am very much excited right now because since we're handling your website as well, so it's gonna be like an easier transition when it comes to me handling all of your marketing stuff. So I know what your pain points are. I know what you actually want, but we can talk about it later on as well. So it's very, very interesting for me to be able to step in and handle this marketing services for you.
Yeah, cool. So in that firm you're using, what kind of tactics, that firm you're working in Australia, what kind of tactics were you doing there briefly?
So it's a lot of different things. It's a combination of a lot of different things. We're doing social media. We're also doing a little bit of SEO and a lot of reputation management because we really wanted to up our game, especially on our locality. We want to be the number one firm in that, at least. So it's a combination of a lot of different things. But SEO is a big part of it because we really wanted to like catch as many qualified clients as we want. Because it's always my thinking that um, other people are looking for similar services as you, and if we cannot find you on the first page of Google, then basically you don't exist. So it's a really, really interesting thought that I've been um, practicing even before. So that's what one of the main tactics that I've used for them.
What about social media?
Yep, I actually handled their social media as well. I actually did all of the planning and collateral creation, as well as up to analytics. It's very much a whole round job for me. So I've handled of a lot of different touch points for the marketing. So it's very fun because I get to do a lot of different things and touching on a lot of different marketing sub umbrella. So it's interesting that I don't really do the same things every day because I
Yeah,
touch on a lot of different things.
cool. Well, we're really lucky to have you. It's hard to find marketers who've worked inside accounting firms and especially successful ones. So we're really glad to have you. And we'll go through these packages quickly now. And um, so look, if you followed my content and stuff before, you would know I have a pretty low opinion of some SEO people. Just because we see the tail end of it all the time, these people who are promising first in Google and then, the reality of that is not quite. And I know a lot of you guys listening today will know what I'm talking about. You get targeted by these people, SEO people all of the time. Funnily enough, they always do it by phone or email, right? So a good question to ask them is, if you're so good at SEO, why are you using direct marketing to try and win my business? They usually hang up pretty quick if you say that. But anyway, but our packages, we've tried to keep them as jargon free as we can because I think the way that SEO people market, it's a lot of this like technical stuff, which a lot of it doesn't really matter that much. Marketing is always about people in the end. It's about what people are searching for and trying to create a site that ranks for that and also converts those people. That's a humans thing. It's not a technical thing. There's a technical aspect, but it's a lot smaller than a lot of those companies would suggest. Now, when I say we've kept them jargon free as we can, they're still full of jargon. Like if you look at these packages, they're still full of jargon and it's really hard. I've been working on these packages, putting things in and out for like the last probably 3 months, and then Adrian's come on board, and we've put things in and out for the last several weeks, and we're pretty happy with where we're sitting right now. The bit that I would say is, look, the top bit is the bit to read. That kind of like first sentence in the second row is what we're trying to do. So yeah, like number one, we're just trying to boost your search engine traffic. So just try and get you ranking for some certain keywords, phrases, and get more traffic to your website. Whereas the second package is more taking that traffic and really trying to do on the what we call on-page stuff. So enhance those conversions to turn that traffic into leads. A bit of reputation monitoring, that checking the mentions that you're getting in different places. And then the top package is obviously it costs more. We do more for that, so it's really comprehensive. We'll even do things like look at your like directories, like Xero, MYOB, QuickBooks. Really optimize those. So it's really accounting specific as well. Is there anything else you'd add to that quick summary, Adrian?
Yep, and of course, since you have a website for us, it's only available for those who have at least a pro package for our website clients, right? And it's a good
Yeah.
complementary to the website, since we want to like have people look at the website because it's a very nice website. So that's one thing that we wanted to do. And on the higher packages, we actually are going to look at your competition as well. If you have a competitor in mind, you can actually state it to us, but we can also research it organically. So we will be able to sort of spy on the competition and see what they are doing, and you outdo what they are doing, So it's very, very nice to have, especially if that is your goal. So it's a lot of different tailor fit things that we can actually do for you. And I'm really excited to speak to you about them.
Cool. Yeah, we've got a link that we can put into the chat. We put it in earlier, which is, if you want to chat to Adrian and Anthea as well, who's kind of handing over. She used to manage the packages. Anyone who's got one now will have dealt with Anthea. Then just jump on a meeting there, or we can just send you information as well. And yeah, I think it's really good that you called out the competitors comparison bit, because I think we sort of think of SEO sometimes in a vacuum, like it's just you doing it, but of course other people are doing SEO. It's a race, and just because you do well in the race this year doesn't mean you're going to do well in the race next year. It depends who's entered. I'm stretching my analogy a little bit there, but basically the competitors bit is really good, because that's real world, right? You want to kind of be beating your competitors. And so that's what we're trying to do with these packages, make it real world, not just a bunch of kind of techie stuff like optimizing metadata, which, we often kind of get on the receiving end of that from SEO agencies, which, has a minimal benefit in terms of your website, and certainly in terms of making money, negligible. We will do all that stuff if you want. That's all part of it, by the way. But I'm just saying, yeah, that's not where the real kind of the real benefits come from. So social media, we've got we've got a few packages there as well, and they're kind of very similar to the search packages. We've tried to keep them kind of very simple and very clear what the different packages are, why they're different. It's not just kind of put up the amount of stuff that we do in each. They're quite different. So yeah, the basic one is just about increasing your profile. We're not doing anything revolutionary in there. It's just more trying to get consistent content out there. And just ask you, Adrian, how important do you think that consistency of your brand and consistency of posting regularly, how important is that to social media?
It's very important, especially if you're trying to build a reputation. Because if me trying to search for a firm online and I see that their Facebook is not updated at all, then I'm not sure if they're still in business, really. So it's really important on at face, but it also says a lot on the deeper, because it really tells a lot if they're into client nurturing. If it says a lot, really, not just on the face.
Mm-hmm. Quick question about SEOs just dropped in from Morris, which is, in terms of SEO, does it take 6 months for Google to crawl your website or for it to rank? Now, like almost any question that you can ask about SEO, the answer is it depends.
Yep.
And the trouble with SEO again is, whereas, like, let's say you've got a list of 1,000 people, email list, and you send an email, you control a lot of the variables there, right? You control the message, you control the means of sending, you can control a lot. The problem with SEO is, like, you're sort of trying to do something which is related to another company, Google, who have got all these things of how they rank websites, which changes us by the day. and they don't tell people why those things change because that's secret. You know, their algorithm has, I don't know how many different things that they rank sites on, but I think it's hundreds, maybe
Operations,
thousands of
yep.
things that they rank on, right? So so I hope I'm not giving you an unsatisfactory answer, but it could get, so your website can get crawled really quickly. That can happen really quickly, but in terms of where it will rank, that's a big thing. That's because it's not operating in a vacuum, right? So if you're like in a small town and you're the only accountant, say, it's going to be pretty easy. But if you're in Sydney, like lots of our clients are, which is a city of circa 5 million people, much bigger challenge, right? So the answer is it depends. But what you can do is accelerate those. So, you know, we do a bunch of stuff with any website. Like, it's not like our websites aren't optimized. They are optimized. It's just optimized can mean lots of different things. So more or less optimized. So your website will rank generally very quickly, particularly if your domain has been around for a while. But what these packages can do is maybe accelerate that a little bit. But I would still say SEO is a longer term strategy.
Yep. And as well, let me just add, we can actually provide you with a baseline for the keywords that we're trying to rank. And we'll also research keywords that's relevant to your business, not just some keywords that comes up on our minds, you know. And with that, we'll provide you with the difference, how it fared with all of our SEO efforts. So it's very open and very visible, the things that we're doing in the background. You'll be guided throughout the journey, and there's going to be a report about that as well.
I think another one that I would also say is you don't it's a misconception that you rank a website. You actually rank phrases generally for certain pages. So it's not necessarily your website that you rank. It's more that, say you offer a cash flow planning service in Wanaka, where I live in New Zealand, right? So that's probably quite an easy phrase to rank for, but maybe accountants Wanaka is a lot harder because you know, that's a more popular phrase. So the more niche you go, probably the easier and quicker you're going to get to the top of Google, whatever that means. Yeah, it's really hard to give a simple answer to those questions because a lot of it might be that you say, well, you know, you're in Sydney, you're never going to rank for accountant Sydney, but let's take your suburb and maybe a service that you really want to rank for, and you're narrowing it down. You have a much better chance of doing that.
And of course, you're going to look at a lot of different things, like, for example, like the keyword difficulty, like the search volume. So it will really matter if it will be actually good or logical to rank for the phrase, because there's a lot of different things to consider. That's where we come in to give you sort of an expert opinion on how to do things when it comes to keywords and search phrases. Yep.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for posting that result that you got, Mark, with your website of getting a pretty valuable client. That shows you what SEO can do. Yeah, Lisa, to answer to your question, the social. Oh, yeah, you've answered it, Anthony, in the chat
It's
anyway.
probably
But I'll
good to
just
call it out though. Sorry,
yeah,
I
they are monthly pricing, so yeah. What we'll do is we've got that form. We can send that information about this. We've just got them on screen so you can quickly see them. But yeah, it's probably a thing, if you're interested, that we actually jump on a call and chat to Anthony and Adrian about them, because some of those things might be a bit unclear what they exactly are. So I'm conscious of time. I'm just going to quickly skip through these, but we do have some website support packages, which, look, what these are for is if you don't really want full SEO, social media type marketing, you just want some very basic website and marketing support, which a bunch of you do already. So we have a thing called the compliance package. This is kind of what will replace that. And we've got an extra package, which has got some more stuff in it. So this is just if you want that extra bit of support to do things like posting blogs, getting emails out, and you just don't have the time to do that yourself. And the final one is that, you know, as I said at the start, the best marketing is like a mix of different things. It's not just putting all your eggs in one basket and just doing social or search or email or anything like that. You want to do a mix of different things. And if you want us to do all of that, we've got these bundled packages which take some of all of the things we've been showing you there and do those for a really good kind of low monthly price. So if you're interested, yeah, either book a chat. I think that's the best way to probably go about it, or we can just send through some more information. We've got a little flyer that we can send out with all of that stuff, and then you can decide whether to go forward with that as well. Cool. Well, yeah, thanks, Adrian, for sharing that with us, and welcome to the team.
Thank you very much.
Cool. All right, I'm going to hand over to you, Kai.
Cool. Sounds good. Hey, everybody. I see a lot of familiar names. So hi again for everybody that I've met, and hello for the first time for whoever I haven't met yet. So I'm Kai. I'm the new website production manager here. I took over for Camilla. I've been here for a couple of months now, so definitely big shoes to fill. So, I'm based in Wanaka as well, where Matt is, about 10 minutes from Matt, so that's been great. The Bizink team is a remote team, which is lovely, but it's been really nice to be able to pop in and have coffee with somebody and chat face to face. So I've really been enjoying that. And as you can tell from my heavy Kiwi accent, I'm originally actually from the US. So I'm from Wisconsin originally. Matt, do you want to go to the next slide?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, all good. So this is just me with my wife and my parents before moving down to New Zealand, and my parents' little puppy. So I just take a little second to introduce myself, talk a little bit about my background, and then just a couple of updates in production. So in my early years, I spent a lot of time with technology, so working with websites, with marketing, with digital media, social media as well, especially through university. And then sort of post-university, a lot of my background has been in education and travel, and specifically working with high school students and gap year students, primarily in South Asia. So India, Nepal, Bhutan. And you can go to the next slide.
Sorry, not very good at this, am I?
It's all good. So I spent a lot of time, about a decade, back and forth to South Asia. So a lot of time working sort of across cultures, across communication styles, a lot of time working with logistics, and really in essence, organizing chaos. If anyone has been to South Asia, you know what I mean. So this photo is the last staff training I did with one of the previous companies I worked for in Nepal before we did a bunch of student programs. And that's sort of what I'm bringing into the team here, is very much like an operations perspective and approach, connecting the different pieces together, connecting different parts of the team, obviously connecting, you guys, the clients, and into what we're actually going to be producing and doing here. I think, also I bring a bit of looking beyond just the immediate work. So like, we're producing a website for you, or a client hub, or whatever we are actually producing, which is great, but really we want to understand a little bit more about the purpose and the why behind that. What is the end goal, or what is the end outcome that we're trying to achieve with that? Because that will really influence the way in which we move forward and the actual process that we take with it. So that's a little bit of the background that I have, and that's what I'm bringing into this. You go to the next one. And I've been bouncing around for a little while. So previous to living here, I lived in Canada for a while. So you see me having fun in the snow. And then, as I mentioned, sort of back and forth to South Asia for a really long time. The photo on the right is me in Varanasi on one of the last programs that I did, having a chai with a friend. Oh. And as I mentioned, I live in Wanaka now, so I've been here for about 2 years, which has been really lovely. I felt really lucky to be down here. That's a photo of one of the peaks just west of Wanaka on the left. And I'm a self-proclaimed coffee snob. And we just had a new coffee shop open up here, which I'm really excited about. So yeah, so that's a little bit about me. That's some of my background.
Kai brings his own coffee to meetings at my house.
I did that once. I felt a little bad, but
Cool. Thank you. I live just over this mountain on the left skyline here. If anyone wants to know, which you probably don't. Right. You got a couple more.
Yeah, just a couple of upcoming deadlines within the production process. So for anyone who is still having a website in configuration, all changes need to be submitted by December 4th to guarantee going live before the new year. So if you have any changes, if you're doing a refresh, if you're creating a site right now, just have that in mind, that December 4th deadline, to guarantee going live before the new year. And then also to let you know, sort of around the holidays, December 23rd, January 5th, we're going to have a bit of a break, sort of a production blackout. A lot of our team will be on holidays, so we won't be doing a lot of work in that period. So those are the two updates. If you have any questions with that, please get in touch and send me an email.
Cool. Thank you, Kai, and welcome to the team.
Thanks, guys.
All right. So support. We've got Bruce out of his support cave. I don't think you've ever been on any of our support, any of our webinars before, right, Bruce?
Not yet. No, this is my first global outreach.
It's a big day. Well,
yeah.
That's really cool. I know you do an awesome job for support, and it's cool that we'll be hiring somebody starting on the 5th. Is that right?
That's the plan. Yep, the 5th of November.
Very cool. So I just have a few questions for you. We can run through it. I know you've put a few slides together. So I guess the first one is, what is the best place to get support? And we're getting the love for Bruce coming in through the chat.
Excuse me. Well, we've got four main channels that we use. Any one of them is as good as the other. So first port of call we would hope would be our knowledge base, which we've been building up over the last several years. That we're going to send a link through there.
Yeah, we'll put the links in. We're going to go through all these individually, but yeah.
So the knowledge base is support.bizinkonline.com, and that includes, I'll show you some screenshots of that shortly, actually, so I'll move on. The chat widget is the little orange beacon in the left-hand corner of the dashboard of your website. A lot of people are using that these days. The support email address, support@bizinkonline.com. All these things will get to the same place. And on the contact page on the Bizink website, there are links to support and a form for sending in a ticket. If you advance the next slide there, Matt, I think
yeah,
we've got
cool
detail there. So when you send us a ticket, when you send us a message to support@Bizink Online, or use the mechanisms like we've got links here and there for send a ticket. The advantage there is that is going to create a ticket that will stay in the system until somebody deals with it, and we can also all monitor. Everybody who works in the company can monitor where that ticket is at and if it needs attending to. So that's as opposed to, say, sending an email to one of us individually. It goes into my inbox. My inbox looks exactly like most people's. That emails disappear in there very, very quickly and get down the priority list. But if you send it to the support email address, then it becomes highly visible. And
just to dive in there, Bruce, it's like if I've sold a website to one of you maybe, and you might email me. What I will do anyway is just forward it to support. So that's our discipline in the company, is not to start dealing with it, because not only does that take up my time, which from a personal thing I don't want, but Bruce and the support team are the best people to deal with it. So that's all we're going to do is hand that over. So it kind of just cuts out the middleman, so that we always want that ticket, because we use HubSpot, and that's got all the information about you as one of our clients. And so that's just like it just helps the whole thing. It means stuff's not going to get lost or not going to get missed. So any of those methods raise the ticket, and it will ensure you get better support and faster in the end.
Yep, it just drops it into the system, and the system generally works reasonably well. The right-hand side of this slide, I've just added a few things because it is helpful if if we get as much detail as possible, and there's a few sort of do's and don'ts that sort of help us out. So the subject line is fairly vital for us to, when we're just even searching for information through our ticket lists and so on, looking for a particular ticket. If it's got a descriptive title, it's useful.
Instead of like my website's broken, would be
short emails like that. We tend to have to build up quite a long email trail. So my website is broken. Okay, so how is it broken? Can you describe it? The message comes back, well, I'm not sure, it's just not working today. So yeah, the more information we can get, screenshots are fantastic. Even video recordings. We talked about this yesterday, Matt. What's that application?
Loom's a really good app.
Loom.
Yeah.
Someone sent me
anything, just a video is super useful.
Someone sent me a video just a few days ago, and it just shortened the process immensely. It was really, really useful because you can actually see what they were clicking on and why something wasn't working. Just what I think of it too, just support isn't necessarily about when things aren't working. So we would like to see everybody using their website as efficiently as possible, and sometimes things aren't that easy, especially if you're not used to working with websites. So we have no problem if you want to send an email into us to support, say, how do I do something, or I can't find out where the right place is in the website, or can you slightly tweak something for us? That's what we're there for, to get you up and running so quickly. Cool. So Carla's just sent a message to say that was her. Thanks, Carla.
Yeah. And I'm just going to add
you're
as
my
well.
Perfect client now.
I was just going to add that you are still all no nice, Bruce, but we see grumpy Bruce when people send in bad tickets. So don't make Bruce grumpy, or we have to bear the brunt of it.
I'll get sent back into my cave. We'll just move on to the next one.
Knowledge base.
Because I think it was last month you mentioned, Matt, we did have a couple of issues with our server, which caused no end of stress here, and I'm sure it caused stress for some of our clients. Our website is hosted on the same server as everyone else's websites, which means we feel your pain, but it also means that you probably can't get access to any of our contact pages or see what's going on. So what we've done is we've added into our knowledge base just a category in there where we can pop a message in about whether or not the service is currently operational. So we ping everybody's websites every few minutes to make sure that things are still live and everything's looking good. And so we would probably know if there was a problem, but we still do appreciate it when people let us know, just in case. Yeah, for instance, the pinging service could give us the message that yes, the site exists, but it doesn't tell us that there's absolutely nothing on the homepage because someone's deleted it or.
Well, the other one, Bruce, would be it pings it to see if there's a website there, but if something's gone wrong with your domain and it's somehow pointing elsewhere, which isn't something we can control, we can still help you get that fixed. So it's definitely worth telling us.
There's that. We actually had one recently, which was something that nobody could change really. There was a DNS outage with one of the domain providers in Australia. So a few Australian websites went offline as far as New Zealand was concerned, but in Australia, they probably would have still been visible.
Just to jump in quickly, just run a quick poll, because I think the knowledge base is a bit underused. We put a lot of effort into it. I think it's a really good resource. Just interested to know if you ever used it. So it's yes, no, didn't know it existed. We can keep going, Bruce, while people are filling that in.
You can pop to the next slide if you like. Your poll's over top of my screen. I can't see it. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
So
welcome to the world of webinars.
So this is just a screenshot of our knowledge base, just to show you what's in there. So you can send a ticket directly from the knowledge base. The chat widget will also appear shortly after loading the page down the bottom left-hand corner. You can't see it in the screenshot, but that is there as well. And included in there, there's just some general guidelines on how to do things, like step-by-step guide on how to launch an email campaign, or create a blog post, right from the basic to the reasonably advanced. And there's a few different formats. So if any of you are missing Camilla, you just go and watch one of the videos there. She recorded a whole bunch of videos for us over the last few years. And so you can actually watch her step by step doing some of the tasks.
Well, it looks like just looking at the poll we're sharing, most people don't know about the knowledge base. So
Wow.
it's a really good resource, not just because we want to fob you off and say don't get to, but it's just often you'll find the answer there really quickly to a lot of these questions. So you can access that through, I'm just going to skip on to the next one, just conscious of time, we're coming up to the hour, but you can search for solutions to issues that you're having in there. And Bruce, you're going to quickly talk about how it works through the chat widget as well.
Yes, and this has been working really, really well until yesterday. This chat widget is part of our HubSpot installation, so all of our records are kept in HubSpot. Our ticketing is all via HubSpot, and this is a HubSpot chat widget. Unfortunately, for some reason, just in the last few days, we think the link to the knowledge base has stopped working. So HubSpot are actually busy looking at that at the moment. However, when it does work, you'll be presented with this. You click on the chat widget, you'll get this screen will come up, and if you type into the search articles area there, you'll immediately see a list of articles related to the keywords in your message. If that doesn't work, then just click on the bottom portion of the message and you can talk to one of us directly. We were attempting to answer these chat messages as fast as we possibly could, like almost instantly in many cases. But as things have got busier and busier, we've had to put a message on there basically saying, we'll try and contact you back within the next few hours. So because of that, make sure you leave your email address in there, because without it, we don't always know who you are. Once you've got a history in the chat will set a cookie on your computer, and it should retain the messages. So you should be able to go back there another day and check to see if we've replied. But we will also send an email transcript of what our reply has been if you've supplied an email address. So that's why we're
I think the live chat's been super popular, hasn't it? Since we launched it.
And I'm super excited to get a new assistant on shortly too, who that's going to double our capacity at least in here. So hopefully those chats will get answered much faster as well, more regularly.
Just got a couple of questions in the chat.
Well, it's such a better way to get support, right? I called a bank yesterday and was on hold for 45 minutes listening to heavily distorted pop R&B. That's not a very nice experience. I'd much rather have just been able to put a chat in and do that.
I use chats normally wherever I go on telecoms websites and places like that. They're normally pretty good.
Cool.
So there's just a message there from Lisa saying, is it best to email support or chat? I'd say if your issue is something you'd like to get done soon, but it's not vital, then just send a message to support. If you're busy on your website and you're working on something and it's really going to hold you up if you don't get an answer soon, then use the chat.
Mark, so in terms of UK-based clients, best to send emails, or would you probably the same answer again there? We'll probably be extending with the new person starting, be in a different time zone, so we're going to be having more coverage over into UK hours. So either still works, it still all raises a ticket, but as long as you leave your email address, chat is fine as well. So you just had a few more bits before we wrap up, Bruce?
Only that there will be less focus on the support tickets over the Christmas period. So it crops up that's super urgent. We think someone's website's suffering because of it. We will try and get that sorted, but there will be, as there is a production, just a bit of a outage between the 23rd and the 5th. In New Zealand, we take the day after New Year's Day in lieu if it doesn't fall on the day on a weekday. So it's going to be on Saturday, I think. So we'll be taking that day on Monday. So we'll be Tuesday back at work as normal.
I'll be checking them. I've got a newborn child, so I've got no life anyways.
Because you normally go away trekking on Christmas, don't you? You won't be doing that this year.
Yeah, it won't be happening.
No, that's
Cool.
all
Well,
from
we're
me.
coming up
So,
to the hour now. We're happy to stay around doing. Yeah, thank you, Bruce, very much for that. It's great for everyone to see you, and it was good to see all your fans. I wish I got that kind of reception. Oh no, it's Matt again moaning about SEO people. Thank you very much. And yeah, we've come up to the hour, so we will stick around if you've got any more questions. Happy to do that. But if you've got to go, totally understand. That's all we had scheduled for this. Thanks for your support during 2020. We're looking forward to all the things I talked about in 2021. And if you've got to go now, have an awesome day. But we'll stick around for a couple of minutes and see if there are any more questions. And maybe some came in during the session, Anthea.
Yeah, so I've got one for Morris. I'll put you on the spot here, Bruce, but if it requires a longer answer, you can go back via email or whatever. Basically about the email marketing system in the back end of his website. So he's using it to do email blasts, client updates, new offers, that sort of stuff. So that's great. But he's just wanting to know if there's an easy way to have one list and then use segments, or sometimes I've heard this question about tags and that sort of thing. So using segments on what is sent to who. He's not interested in using another app like MailChimp or HubSpot.
so within the Bizink email marketing
Correct,
system.
Yeah.
It's kind of a terminology thing, I think, really, because the way the email marketing lists work is it is actually one list, and a name can get tagged with multiple multiple mailing lists, I guess you'd call it. So the way you see them is actually as multiple lists, but there is actually only one database. So a name will appear a single time in that database, but it will be tagged with different lists. So it's kind of the same thing, but just using different terminology.
Segments is, I was just doing a bit with segments last week. Segments is more actions based. So segments is only if someone clicked on it. So you could say, send another email to everyone who didn't open the last email that you sent.
Yep.
Whereas
MailChimp,
lists you would use for like tax clients, business clients, whatever. You'd use it more to categorize in that way.
Yeah, I think, yeah, and also there's different terminology between different email applications. Like MailChimp has slightly different terminology. They do use.
Yeah, I think, but your point is interesting in that, like, we have subscribers and they can be in different lists where they're kind of not lists. It's more that they're tagged. They just call it lists. Yep. Some applications, Campaign Monitor is one. You can be in 10 lists, and you are actually in different lists. The advantage of having the way we do it, and it's like the way HubSpot does it, is you have one contact, and so it's like a stream of history for them rather than a history for one list. So it's kind of like an architecture thing, the way of thinking about it. But I would use lists as your primary way of dividing stuff up, and segments more if you wanted to be like, say you were inviting people to an event or a webinar, because we don't do events anymore. You would be to say, okay, I want to do an email to everyone who's not registered, or something like that. So you would be able to sort of like segment it based on anyone who hadn't clicked a link in the other email, something like that.
So hopefully that helps, Morris, but send another message or message support if you have anything more on that front. We do have another question from Mark, so I'll probably put you on the spot, Kai, and maybe Matt as well. So it's about the website refresh, or sometimes in production we refer to this as a conversion. So that new theme and refresh from those designs we were talking about earlier. So he's just asking if there's any downtime and does it impact on the existing SEO?
No, people used to talk about like a reskin of your website. I guess that's what it is what we take is your existing site content and then make it look different. Now, often at that point, this is more a you thing than an us thing. You probably think about the content as well. So most people go, oh, do you know what? That's outdated, or, I'm using a photo from when I was 25 and I'm now 40, or whatever people do, and they want to do a bit of an update. So generally the two things go hand in hand, and we end up doing a bit of a production process around that. In terms of SEO, no, it's not going to affect your site at all. because you would just, as long as you kept the same links within your website, that's fine. So we would do that, and there's no downtime because we actually build it on a separate site, so that there will be no downtime at all. It just is like when you put your site live, you point the domain at it, and
So
there
probably
it goes.
similar to when you initially built the website. We did a similar thing, built it here till you were happy with it and then pointed it across. Might be good just to discuss quickly the timeframes, Kai. So I think we usually allow 10 weeks for that sort of stuff. Any other comments on that, Kai?
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, it can take up to 10 weeks. It just depends a little bit on what else is in the production pipeline at the moment. But yeah, allow up to 10 weeks to do that.
Yeah, it's a good one to sort of like, they are jobs that we won't just necessarily, we do have to schedule those out because we've got, other things happening, and because it's not generally as urgent as, some people who've got a new site happening. But yeah, if you're interested in that, just let us know and we can discuss options. Probably my call on it would be wait until like January when we'll have those new designs ready. Take a look at those because they're gonna look pretty cool. And putting it on a client hub as well. And I think a client hub is a good example where that one, much more minimal content, we would just switch that out. So technically, you don't have to do anything. The pages can all stay the same, and it would just be like a new look on your existing content.
Right, well, that's all the questions I can see. If anybody has any, you can quickly fire them in now, or you've got the contact support at bizinkonline.com if you've got any website or client hub queries. But thanks to everyone for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
All right, see everyone later.
See ya.